Okay, okay,
Okay,
we're
we back
back.
at it.
We're back. We're
Okay,
back.
cool.
What was so the final question, the bit where we were was if you how to get into the sport. So I
Correct.
said go on YouTube first, do a little bit of research, and then go to your local gym and see if you can continue a career in it.
Okay, cool. Mark 23 on Instagram.
Hmm.
If KSI fought again, would you be his trainer?
Ah, guys, they're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. Listen, as I've said, I am not focusing on training KSI. I'm focusing on my career. I've got a lot of stepping stones that need to be, surpassed. I've got a lot of things that need to be achieved. Once I've reached a certain point in my career, I can then think about coaching him again. But for now, it's about Viddal Riley. It's about Mayweather Promotions. It's about me continuing my journey.
I couldn't agree with you more, brother. Manu on Instagram. In your opinion, what makes a great athlete?
um, well, from a non-physical standpoint, I would say it has to be your grit, determination, your ability to not say no or give in to anything. You have to be resilient. I think that's the number one thing. You can have talent, you can have athletic ability. There's been great fighters that we've seen, great athletes that we've seen with natural talent, but if you don't have the grit and the resolve to dig deep when things get hard, you won't make it. So for an athlete, the greatest thing you can have is resiliency, resolve, grit, determination, all of those things, just all synonyms of hard work and focus.
Cool, cool. DC in the house.
Okay.
Brooklyn in the house.
We're doing well. We're doing very well. We've got a lot of people in.
Colorado in the house. Okay, next
Okay.
question. Who do you see right now is the best cruiserweight in the sport?
The best cruiserweight in the sport right now for me might be Marius Bradis. Uh, Usyk was the best cruiserweight. Obviously, he's moved up now to heavyweight, so I'd say Bradis is the best cruiserweight in the world, in my opinion. He pushed Usyk in their Super Series final matchup, and he's continued to win ever since that fight. And yeah, and he's in the Super Series again in the semifinals, I believe. So or finals now, I think against Dorticos. So it's
Yeah.
gonna he is he's the best in the division for me right now.
How do you see that fight with him and Dorticos playing out?
Um, I think I think he can beat Dorticos. I think Dorticos is a dangerous fighter. He can punch. We know he can punch.
Yeah.
We know he can. We know he can put the combinations together. He's a little bit dirty too. We've seen him be a bit edgy in the ring, but I think Breedis has enough boxing IQ and experience to take him in the later rounds and outbox him.
Right. Yeah. It should be a very good fight. Obviously,
Very
I see
interesting.
Dorticos up close and personal.
Yeah,
He's tough. He's a good puncher, but he can be outboxed.
yeah.
So it should be a good fight. I'm looking forward
That's a
to that
great
match.
fight.
Yeah,
That's a
looking
great
forward
fight.
to the matchup. Okay. Um, Destiny DR4 on Instagram. What is your favorite combination to throw?
Whew, it changes. It changes. I don't even know if I should be giving this away. The people are trying to really get into my game right now. But I'd say my favorite combination is it might just be the bread and butter 1-2 because my right hand is my power punch and I always need to set up with something. So whether it's a left hook that's light or a jab and then the straight right, I'll go with that. So I'd say any two punch combination that starts off with a disguise and then the big right hand to follow.
Cool, cool. North Carolina in the house.
Okay, we have to
Grand
try and get
Rapids,
every state.
Michigan in the house.
Okay, Grand
Okay.
Rapids too. Woo.
Next question. Sammy Burkhan on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your favorite cruiserweight fighter of all time? That's a good question.
Ah, it's between two people.
It can only be one. It can only be one. It can only be one. There is only one. In
Ah,
my eyes, anyway.
I know, but I don't. It's hard because they're the same for me because I'm from the UK. For me, I think we crashed again. I think we. Hold on. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, it's crashed on my screen, but I was still going. Um, I'm gonna edge it to David Hay.
Please
I
don't
have to
say no.
go
Please don't say what I think you get ready to say.
David Hay. David Hay.
Oh
David Hay.
no!
No. I'm the guy. I'm from the
Nah,
UK.
nah,
I'm from
nah.
the
Go
UK.
ahead. I'll let you finish.
I'm from the UK. I gotta go with my guy. I gotta go with my guy. I'm from London. He's from London. I'm going with David Hay. That's my
Okay.
favorite
He's a
cruiserweight.
very.
And then go.
No, go ahead. Go
Yeah, he's my favorite, and then Holyfield second.
ahead. Holyfield ain't coming second to nobody. Not in the cruiserweight division. I
I
mean,
know, man.
he's the one that put the division on the map in my eyes. I mean, he was in some excellent fights, and that's how he came on the scene. Obviously, he had a great amateur background, but I mean, you look back at those historical fights that he was in. I
Yeah,
mean, he really did his thing. But props to David Hay. I mean, he's been a very good fighter. Nothing but respect, but I understand why you're gonna ride with the home team.
yeah.
I
He's a
understand, but
like
look,
they.
he ain't touching no Holyfield though.
Nah,
I, it's look,
Holyfield is the
it's
better
levels to
cruiserweight.
this shit.
Holyfield is the better cruiserweight, but my favorite, I'm going with David Hay.
Okay, all right, we can ride with that
Okay. Let's do that.
one. Okay,
It's
Jay
still running.
Grizel on Instagram.
Hmm.
When are you putting out more new music?
Um. Well, I've got a lot of new music ready. I've got a lot of music ready. Uh, but I have to wait and see how this whole thing plans out. Obviously, we got a tragic thing going on in the world right now, and that affects everyone's movements and schedules. So I need to get some music videos shot first, and then I'll release some music. So when I'm allowed to go out and shoot a video, music will follow shortly after that.
Okay, cool. We got a request from some of your big fans in London. Someone wants you to, Bormain Shields on Facebook wants you to give us a quick little freestyle.
Oh no.
Come
That's so
on, come
much
on,
nah.
come on.
That is
Give
not
it
a
to him.
question. That ain't not you know what? That's not a question. That's a request. That's not a question.
That's what I said. We got a request.
You guys are killing me. They're trying to make me do a freestyle on the camera.
Yeah, why not?
I ain't Leonard, I ain't got nothing for you right now,
Are
man.
you
I ain't
okay?
got nothing for
Okay,
you
we can
right
circle back to that one. We'll
now.
circle.
Cool, we circle back. We'll circle back.
We'll circle back to that one.
All
Okay.
right.
Um, G Spam on Instagram. Can you share any tips for your footwork?
Um any tips for my footwork?
Did you lock up? Locked up. Be patient with his fans for a second. Locked up. Go ahead. Put him in. Okay,
we're back again. I don't know what's going
good.
on. I don't know what the problem is, but
It's okay.
what was the question again?
The question was, I don't know. We're gonna move on to the next one. I'm sure they'll circle back. Okay, next question. Nicolo Viggo on Instagram. Would you fight Tommy Fury?
Oh, I don't know. That's like you guys are asking me questions that's for Leonard.
These are the fans. I'll answer that question.
Okay.
We want all the smoke. We want all the smoke.
There you go. There you go.
I've seen Tommy Fury fight. Obviously, you know, he's solid. But
Leonard's body language tells you what we need to know. Your body language tells the audience at home
he can't fuck with
what
you,
we need to know. No. But that's why I don't talk about things that don't concern me.
He can't fuck with you. I'm saying that. And I'm backing that play 100.
There we go.
Next question. Okay. Afros on Instagram. Do you enjoy your time spending on social media?
That's it? That's the end of the question. You know, it goes through waves. I'm not gonna lie to the people at home. There's times I love being on social media, and there's times where I also feel like I need a space from social media as well. As much as it's a career to me, and I take it seriously, there's times that I know I need to remove myself and just refresh and then come back to it. You know, I love what social media has done for me, and at the same time, I know, like I said, when to retreat and when to focus on other things. Like when I'm in camp, social media pretty much dies to me. It's something that I'm working on, trying to find a better balance. But it goes through waves. But overall, I like social media and I like what it's done for me too.
You got a few questions on here talking about Tommy Fury. He don't want that smoke. Trust me.
No, listen, Tommy Fury's got a really good reputation over here in the UK, and that's why people bring his name up, because we both got big followings. Man, you will beat his ass. Listen, Leonard,
I can say that. We don't need to.
We don't need to entertain this conversation.
No, we interacting with the fans. I said that.
No, shout out to all the fans. Who knows? Maybe one day, we'll have the fight over here in the UK. Maybe. Who knows?
Right. Okay. Next question.
Leonard sending the smoke.
Spice Boy Rice on Instagram. How did you get discovered by Mayweather Promotions?
Well, my manager, Amir Abdullah, close connections with the promotions. He also manages Badu Jack. So we had a great link to the promotional company. It wasn't given to me. I don't want people to think this was something that was given based off my following. You know, I had to go to Vegas. I had to spar against quality people, Andrew Tabbi being one of them. And I had to prove myself and prove that I belong in there with the top people and belong with one of the top sporting companies in the world. So I don't want people to think that it was given to me. But through those connections, we managed to make a great deal happen, a deal that I couldn't be happier with, to be honest. Like, a lot of people just say things because it's on camera, but that's me genuinely speaking. And I just can't wait to see how far we take it.
Oh no, we're taking it to that definitely taking it to that next level.
For sure.
That's for sure. Okay. Next question. Oh, shout out to Bulgaria in the house.
Shout out to Bulgaria, another country
Austin,
added to the
Texas
list.
In the house.
Texas as well. Okay, more states. Keep it coming.
Bronx in the house.
Bro, oh, this is great. I like this.
South Africa in the house.
South Africa. Okay. Oh,
okay.
Worldwide. That's what I'm saying. Worldwide.
You doing it like that?
Wherever there's Wi-Fi, get involved. If you got internet connection, get involved.
That's it.
Canada. I just see Canada on there as well. Canada, Ireland, Oxford, UK, Denmark.
Turkey.
Everyone's shouting out their country now.
Turkey. IFL TV.
IFL TV as well.
Australia.
Maldives. Amir, walaikum salam, bro. I see Amir there as well.
Ethiopia.
Wow.
Man, you just doing it big. Shout out to Karen. Karen,
Someone
Sweden in
just
the
put
house, New Hampshire,
someone just put Africa. We need a bit more than that. You know,
Nebraska in the
Africa's a
house,
bit.
India, West Ham, ABC in the house,
That's it. West Ham. That's my
Germany
club.
in the
That's my home
house,
club. Madagascar.
Asia,
Someone put
Sheffield.
Madagascar in there.
I tell you, boy, you just doing it too big.
All right,
Okay,
let's
next
go.
question.
Next question. I'm ready.
Dan
Let's
Healy
go.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
Will you bring a big fight to the UK? I can answer that. Oh,
I was about to say.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, most definitely. He has a tremendous following, and we're gonna definitely capitalize on that. One thing I do love, I love the UK fans. I tell anybody that all the time. The UK, in my opinion, the UK fans are the best fans.
Are the best fans. You heard it there.
When it comes down to support, they don't give a damn win, lose, or draw. They're gonna back you, and that's the one thing that I could appreciate. Me and Floyd had this conversation. I think it was yesterday. Man, can you imagine if Floyd was a British fighter? If he was from. Oh my God!
It'd be ridiculous. It'd be ridiculous
because they appreciate the science, the art of the sport. And again, I mean, they're gonna come out and support. They're gonna come out and support regardless, and that's what you gotta love about them.
They show respect. They show respect to the great fighters. You know, whenever Floyd comes here, I know he always gets a great reception. Any great fighters that come over here to fight. I actually remember when Tank came over and fought Leon Walsh as well.
Oh
that was a
God.
great atmosphere.
Shout out to Frank Warren.
Frank Warren was there as well. I was actually at that fight. You know what? Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story quick. So maybe about 2 years ago when you came over for that fight, I saw you in the shopping center, and we actually shook hands. Shook hands. Yeah, this was about, I don't remember what year that fight was, 2017, maybe 2018. And we shook hands quickly. I just said, I appreciate everything that you're doing in the sport. And it was very brief. And then look where we are now.
We was at that shopping center, like right there by the hotel.
Yeah, in Westfield.
Yeah, that was a cool little hotel. I like how we had.
That's it, right? Literally right there.
Yeah. I can't say enough about the fans. Are so respectful, and they just appreciate. They appreciate, good quality fighters, and you just can't say enough about that. I mean, nothing but love. I recall when we went over there for, I think it was the Marquez fight, and I think we did it was one of our promotional stops.
Okay.
And I think we went to Peacock Gym.
Oh yeah. I've been there quite a few times. I'm familiar with the gym.
Yeah. And speaking of the UK, shout out to my boy Spencer, Big Spence, big up to Spence.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably like 5,000 people like outside of the gym. The gym was just jam packed, and this was just for Floyd just to work out, And they gave us the fans. The fans,
they're the best. I'm telling you, when they're ready to show out, they come in numbers, and I can't wait for those nights where I get to see the UK audience supporting me on my journey in the ring.
Yeah. And we definitely gonna bring a big fight over there, and I'm letting the fans know right now it's gonna be in 2021. In 2021, I'm working on some big for Tank Davis.
That's news to me.
In the UK.
That's news to me.
So you hearing it right now?
2021. Okay.
2021.
You heard it. 2021. Leonard said I'm coming to the UK. There you lot go. There you go.
That's it. Yep. Okay. Next question, John K. 2007. Is it too late to begin boxing at 21?
No, it's not too late. to start boxing, but you do have to consider you will be going up against people that have been dedicating themselves their whole life. You could potentially be fighting people who started when I started, like 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. So you will be behind, but it's not too late if you're willing to put the work in and catch up. If you're willing to basically fast track yourself and your knowledge and your growth and dedicate your life to it, then it isn't too late. And I think another huge factor is the weight category that you are. If you're 21 years old and you're in the lighter weight categories, then it is one of those things where you peak younger. If you know you're in the heavier weight classes, then 21, it might even be a perfect age to start. You might hit your peak at 32, 33 years old. So it depends on the weight, and it depends on if you're willing to fast track yourself to catch up with the others.
Cool. Okay. Ben Cutler 23 on Instagram. How do you handle your nerves before a fight?
I tell myself, I ask myself, in fact, why am I nervous? That's what I do. I break it down to myself and try and find a reason to why I'm nervous. When I'm in training camp, everything that I do is to stop that feeling of nerves. I believe every fighter gets, the little butterflies in the stomach. They get that little, okay, it's about to happen. But the more you think back to your camp, if you know you tick those boxes, that nerves goes away. And once that first bell goes, it's war. It's war. So there's no time to be nervous. You fight. Like, that's how my brain is. Maybe when they're doing the announcement, that's my last little bit of nerves. Once I hear the bell, it's war.
Cool. RA6IM on Instagram. What do you find most difficult about training camp?
The most difficult thing sometimes can be how repetitive it is. It's a very strict regime. It's very repetitive. It's very, strenuous on the body. There's days you want to rest. There's days you want to take off, but you can't. You have to follow the regime. You can't let your opponent outdo you. You can't let that happen. So I think the hardest thing about it is just how repetitive it is. And when we get to the last 2 weeks of camp, that's when it's the hardest, because by that point you're fit, you're sparring well, the weight's coming down, but you still have to wait 2 weeks. So I'd say the hardest thing about camp is the last couple weeks and just how repetitive it is.
Good stuff. Sammy Burkhart, how many years do you think it will take you to capture your first world title?
That's another question for you. They're giving you the question.
Only time will tell. As it relates to the cruiserweight division, as far as the top tier talent, you have a lot of good fighters in the division, but it's just all about the timing and getting the necessary. We're in no rush to do anything, because see, when you rush to go do something, then that's when you trip up and make mistakes. We got nothing but time on our hands. You have quite a bit of experience already under your belt, and we're going to put you in the right fights. And I'm very, very confident you're going to become cruiserweight champion.
Me
and
too.
Probably maybe, and then we move on to bigger and better things. So it's just nothing but time. Only time just stands in the way from you doing what you need to do.
That's it. Okay. I can't wait. I know patience is key. Obviously, I want to throw myself in there with fighters that, we have to take time to work ourselves towards, but that's why I have the team around me. But ultimately, we're going to end up in the same place. That's on top of the sport, world champions, pay-per-view stars.
And speaking of your team, shout out to Amir and Jeff. Specifically speaking on Amir, he's done a phenomenal job with your career.
I agree. Don't give him too much. Don't give him too much.
That's my dude. He's good people. He's done an outstanding job with your career in and outside the ring. And also, I really, truly enjoy working with him. He works with Badu Jack also, too. Mm-hmm. So he's made that a very seamless process. And we have a great working relationship. So shout out to Amir.
Shout out to him, man. I have to give it to him. He's done a great job so far. managing me. You know, he understands my vision. He sees where I want to be. He knows the path that I want to take. And yeah, I can't. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I know not everybody is as fortunate to have a great relationship with their management team, but I can safely say I'm not in that position, and I'm thankful.
Cool. Ashton Bright on Facebook. How do you stay motivated between two careers?
Because I am not where I want to be. You know, I'm not where I want to be. There's a lot of things on my list that I've set out to achieve. You know, music wise, I want to achieve. You know, I want to sell tons of records if I can. YouTube, I want to get as many subscribers as I can. I want to get 1 million views on every video if I can. In boxing, I want to be on top of the sport. I want people to type in Google, wherever, box rec, whatever rankings you want to check, and see Viddal Riley sitting at the top. And until that is the case, I can't rest. So that's what keeps me motivated. It's just that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it properly, or I ain't going to do it at all.
Cool. Santello Boxing on Instagram. Where's your dream place to fight?
Oh, well, I have to say, I'd love to fight at home, and not at home meaning just in London, but I mean there's a big football stadium. We call it football, you call it soccer, but there's a big stadium near my house that's just been newly renovated. It's my home football team, soccer team. So I'd love to fight there. You know, that's 60,000, 62,000 people. I'd love to fight somewhere where I knew I only grew up 5 minutes away from where that stadium is built. So that would be my dream venue to box at.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be great. That would be great.
Razor Brune on Instagram. What are your thoughts on Shannon Briggs? What's up, Ken?
No, you know, as I said, me and Shannon, I can sleep at night and not worry about Shannon. You know, he's a cool guy. He's an entertainer, and we bounced off each other really well in the promotion for KSI and Logan too. And he definitely gave the event that ignition to have its side story and a feud between the coaches. And I have to thank Shannon for that. I have to respect Shannon for that. Without him, I wouldn't have got as much publicity as I did from that event. So shout out to Shannon. Obviously, me and him are not friends to a point where I'm going to text him and thank him for it. But if he's watching, then he's lucky. He can hear the thank you because I ain't saying it again.
Okay. Liam16 on Instagram. As it relates to athletes being rappers, who do you think is the best out there in the game?
The best rapper in the game right now.
Who's an athlete?
Best rapper in the game that's an athlete. I don't know. That's a good question. I know Damian
that's
Lillard.
easy.
I know Damian Lillard is good.
Yeah, and there you go. The buck stops right there.
Yeah. Damian Lillard.
Else. Dame's on a whole nother level by himself, and I wouldn't even put the two together, athlete and rapper. Dame makes great music. Now he's my boy does. Also too, but he makes great music.
So you're biased. You're biased. That means you're biased.
I'm not biased. Nope. No. He's a very, very good artist, and you know he's very passionate about that the same way he is about putting in that work with his game. But he makes great music.
Damian Lillard is the best rapper that's an athlete until my next album drops.
Okay. Well, the fans can't wait to see what you're coming with.
That's coming. It's gonna be very different, but it's gonna be fire. I can guarantee you.
Cool. Kobe Harvey from the UK. Viddal, you inspired me to box. What tips do you have that I can continue?
First of all, whenever I hear that I've inspired someone to start boxing, I think they're crazy because it's a crazy sport to want to throw yourself into, but it's also a very humbling thing to hear that I can have that influence on someone. So thank you for that. And to answer your question, I'd say the thing that can improve you is going to be your jab. I know you haven't perfected your jab yet if you're listening, because that takes years to do. There's all different types of jabs, there's all different ways to throw it. So I would say make sure you dedicate your time into perfecting your jab and when to use it, what type of jab to use and when to use it, and that will improve your game.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely it's all about the timing of it. And like you
Yep,
said, you can use it in so many ways as a rangefinder, in so many different ways, and it sets up everything else.
that's the
And,
main
and,
thing. It sets
and
up
it's a mean of
everything.
controlling your opponent at
Yep,
any given time.
yep.
At any given time. And it's definitely something that's underutilized for a lot of fighters.
Yeah, it's not the most eye-catching punch. It's not the most exciting punch. Like it's not an uppercut or a hook, but it's what sets those punches up. Um, so yeah, I'd say to any fighter that's listening that has been inspired to start recently, make sure you don't overlook that punch and try and get into all the fancy stuff. Perfect your jab.
Cool. Tyson Oliver on Instagram. Who has been your toughest opponent in the amateurs?
Whoo, good question. I have to think now. I have to think. Toughest opponent in the amateurs. Um, oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I would say uh I boxed a guy, I forgot his name. I forgot his first name, but he was from Bulgaria. It was in the Youth Olympics in the quarterfinals, and he was the world number one at the time. This is when I was 17. So this is the Youth Olympics, 17 years old. He just won the world championships 2 months or 3 months before we went to the Youth Olympics. So he's going into this tournament world number one, full of confidence, and he was an awkward counter puncher. You know, very quick hands, good balance, good footwork, and he ended up beating me. I don't think he won the fight, and I always put my hands up. If I believe I lost, I will tell you I lost. But that fight, I don't know. I thought I won the fight. That was definitely my hardest fight. I was thinking every minute of the round, of every round. Um, but that was my toughest fight as an amateur. Was fighting the world number one at the Youth Olympics.
Cool. Good. Did you gain a lot of experience from that fight?
Oh, a ton of experience because you realize in the amateurs, the judging is different based on where you are. It's not a universal rule followed for the scoring. So boxing a certain way at home in the UK and then going to the World Championships and boxing that same way, the judges don't appeal to the same thing. The Russian judge doesn't like what the judges in the UK normally like. He might like more aggression, for example. So that international experience taught me that the judges they can vary what they score on, and that is the number one thing. I even take that into the pros as well. So that's my biggest learning. That's my biggest lesson from being an amateur boxer at a high level.
Cool. Uh, Alicia Nicole on Facebook. Would you fight Logan Paul?
Ah, why do people do this to me? Why do people ask me these
We
questions?
having fun with the fans.
Why do people ask me these questions? Listen, I'm telling you for a fact, if the money is right, I'm knocking Logan Paul out. Cold, cold. If
No,
it if they bring the right check, it makes the right sense and the fight, listen, I'll do it. At the end of the day, I'm a prize
that's not
fighter.
even a fight. That's not even
If
fight.
there's a
That's not even fair.
listen, I'm
That's
a
not even
prize fighter.
fair.
If there's a big enough prize, then
Yeah, yeah.
anyone can be in the way.
That's right. Okay. Derrick Roberts on Instagram. Um, who is your favorite all-time fighter?
Favorite all-time fighter, I think everyone should know by now. If someone doesn't write it below, that means they're not watching my stuff. But it's Roy Jones Jr. That's my favorite fighter. Just watching him as a kid and just seeing the things that he could do, I just couldn't believe it. Like I couldn't believe that he could put his hands behind his back and hit someone, or like pretend to be a cockerel, and it didn't make any sense to me, but it just amazed me. So yeah, Roy Jones Jr. is definitely my favorite fighter, and to this day, I still look and take a few bits and pieces from him. There's only one Roy Jones, so you can't try and emulate him, but you can definitely take pieces of his game and add it to a puzzle. So Roy Jones Jr., that's my favorite fighter.
Shout out to
Shout
real
out
Roy Jones.
to Roy Jones.
He was a phenomenal fighter. He amazing some of the shots that he used to knock guys out with. I just recently seen him. It was a couple months ago. Again, he's a humble dude, and I like the fact that he's continuing giving back to the sport. You see, he's working with a few fighters. Have you had a chance to meet Roy?
Yeah, I have. I've met him a couple times now, but we spoke more in depth actually at my last fight when we was at Samstown, because we know we was in Kevin's corner. So we was actually in the same changing room warming up, and he gave me some good luck words before I went out. And he said he watched the fight in the changing room on the screen. So it was great to have my Mayweather Promotions debut, but not only that, have my favorite fighter
Oh,
see the
that's
fight
awesome.
and talk to me.
That is awesome.
Talk to me about it, like just as I get out the ring. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Cool. Okay. The unknown. Who is your inspiration?
Who's my inspiration? I have multiple inspirations, but I'm gonna go with my dad as the main inspiration. Being around me, from beginning to just tutoring me through all different stages of my life, giving me the solid advice that I need, giving me the sense that I have, in its majority. Obviously, everybody plays a part. I've got loads of family members who played a part in my growth and inspired me, but I'd say my dad was the main one. He got me into the sport of boxing. He's taught me a lot of what I know, majority of what I know in the sport of boxing, and even to conduct myself as a man. So I go with my main inspiration is my dad.
Cool. Family first.
Family first,
Next
always,
question.
always.
Who do you feel is the best boxer in the world right now?
Now, people don't like when I say this, but I'm saying Manny Pacquiao. Now, the reason why I say this is because no. Just hear me out. Just hear me out.
Yeah,
Just hear me out.
I'm listening.
Manny Pacquiao was the best pound for pound boxer whenever Floyd retired, right? He was the best pound for pound fighter in the world. And whenever Floyd retired, he'd jump into the place. Now, if he's still active and he's still an active world champion, he's still beating the top people in his division as a 41-year-old man. He's still beating the top names. He's an 8-weight world champion. Until Manny Pacquiao retires, no one can take his place.
Yeah, and the one thing that I really never liked about this whole subjective thing about pound for pound, right? Because it's just all a matter of someone's opinion. But when as it relates to Manny Pacquiao, obviously I know him very very well.
Yeah, of course.
He's another living legend. I mean, he's accomplished so much, in the sport, over the last 20 plus years. He's been the second best fighter in the sport.
This is what I'm saying. He's been the second
He's
best.
accomplished so much, and what really impresses me is he's doing his thing, like you said, right now in his 40s. He wants all the smoke. He wants all the
avoiding
smoke.
anybody.
Yeah, he ain't backing down from no challenges that are out there. And it was so impressive with his recent victory over Thurman. That was very very impressive. What he was able to do. Because I know Keith was the younger fighter coming in there, but I think that Keith kind of underestimated him, which was definitely a mistake. Because Manny Pacquiao, it's See, Floyd makes it look different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Manny Pacquiao is still, obviously he's not the same fighter he was 10 years ago, but he
No,
still has
no.
enough. He still has enough experience and enough in his tank to be able to go out there and put on these kind of performances and beat a guy like
He's
a top
younger,
fighter
so
like
much younger than
Keith
him.
Thurman.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I'm
why I
saying?
give him the best pound for pound. I know the Canelo, Crawford, Spence, Lomachenko, all these names can be spoken about. But until that man, the legend of the sport, retires, he has the position. He has the position in my eyes.
Well, I mean, my opinion right now, if you know, I had to rank them,
Mm.
Terrence Crawford is pound for pound the best fighter in the world. Um,
It's just fair. I can't argue with that either. It's
yeah, I mean, and
he's a
again,
great
you have
fighter.
yeah, and then obviously we can't say enough great things about Canelo. Um, you know,
Hmm.
he's right there neck and neck. He's accomplished so much. You know, but you have so many great fighters that are out there, and you know, they all are pushing to the, you know, to the top. You know, obviously I'm biased in this too because right
Yeah.
now we have a young fighter that I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. He just hadn't had the opportunities to prove it yet, and Gervonta Davis, and the
Oh,
world will see.
yeah.
The world will get a chance to see that in the next few years because the two divisions that he'll be competing at is loaded with talent,
Yep.
loaded with talent. And so there'll be a number of opportunities he'll get and show these cats out there who's doing all that barking on why he's the best that's out there. You know, so these are going to be great times for the entire sport. You know,
Hmm.
great matchups to be made for those divisions. And again, you know, once you get going and get your career going and get the experience under your belt, again, you know, the sky's gonna be the limit when it comes to you. But you're gonna be dominating these
One
cruiserweights
of
and these
these days,
heavyweights.
Leonard, we're gonna have another Instagram live. It's gonna be another Q&A, but I'm gonna have some belts just
Oh yeah,
set out
that's gonna
somewhere
be
along the
real
front.
nice. That's gonna be nice.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Cool. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. We had a great time today. Any parting words to the fans, Viddal?
I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. It's like I said, I don't go on live often. I enjoyed it. There were good questions. You guys are getting better with your questions. I thought there was gonna be, 75 KSI questions, but you guys are actually spicing it up now. You're mixing it up, so I'm liking it. And it was a pleasure to be on with you as well, Leonard, man. It's good to catch up. It's good to see you're safe. It's good to see you're doing well during this time as well.
Okay, well, thank you, and thank you for taking the time out of your day. And you know, obviously, everybody's in quarantine, you know.
That's
But
it.
again, we really appreciate you taking the time out. Okay, and we'll talk
Anytime.
soon. Okay,
Anytime. Love and respect to
okay.
everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Likewise. Peace.
All right, bro. In a bit.
Okay.